Welcome to this week's whole week Costa. I always want to say pasta because it's like hilarious. Tonight on the beer table we have two things actually. We have Arby's soda from we got Arby's because I was starving,
So three things.
and then I have New Belgian Day Blazer Easygoing Ale. It's pretty delicious. And Kev, what do you have?
I have the Red's Wicked Blood Orange. It's like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like if you're drinking Pop Rocks. It's kind of what it tastes like. Which I like, but I like most things, so I don't really know. I didn't look up any beer facts because JD asked if we were ready for the podcast, and I said yeah. I didn't even adjust my microphone. So you might hear a lot of microphone. It's still not right. Okay, that's good. You might hear a lot of microphone creaking and stuff.
You spent like 20 minutes trying to get social media down, but then whatever.
I'm our social media presence. So we're probably gonna make a whole week Costa Instagram we were just talking about. So that should be exciting.
I was real quick. I was playing a song in the background where he mentions Clamato because we were at the beer store. And Budweiser now has Budweiser and Clamato with lime and salt.
So and the only disappointment about that, we're spending $3 on it. It was a little too much for curiosity. As JD said, I'm a curious guy, but I'm not Budweiser Clamato curious.
Which I think is a good point in life.
But then there's a dude there that we were talking to about the Clamato. I felt like he'd be a good guest star on Whole Week Costa, but we still only have the two microphones.
Well, he went. He goes, I make my own Clamato, but I'm not drinking Budweiser. and then I've never actually looked up, Clamato.
Yeah,
I've never actually had it, but I can.
I don't want to look it up.
Yeah, I can assume, and this is one time where assuming doesn't hurt. It tastes terrible.
Well, it's probably. I'm assuming the clam part of it just like salty. So it's like if you had like salt and tomato juice, which is essentially like V8. But I don't know how the extra little clam flavor kicks in.
I just don't like people who get excited about clams and oysters.
Yeah, I never got that. They look gross. Like I'll eat like cooked like clams or mussels or stuff, but like I don't know when you see the little like fucking like booger looking, yeah. I don't know who finds that appealing.
Yeah. Like I have one friend, he's always like, "Oh, buck a shuck," and I'm like, "No," and then he's like $30 later. So that was worth it, and I was like,
Probably not.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Other than rice, when you can eat 30 of something, it's probably not worth it for $30.
Yeah, it's not worth the individual things. But I don't know. Do you know what the origin? I don't know what it is. The origin of like them as like an aphrodisiac.
No.
Yeah.
I do know. I once again I can guess or assume that some guy was starving one day and decided to eat them, and he goes, "This is kind of edible." Horseradish would taste pretty good on this.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel like I looked it up one time, but I don't remember what it is now. But I just want to apologize because I'm totally unprepared for this week's Whole Week Costa. In a way, I'm not.
You have tons of topics.
I do. So I have the most topics I've ever had. But mostly I was driving here and they were coming to my mind. And every stoplight I was texting JD random words. And then after like the sixth one, I clarified that they were in fact topics. I'm assuming he knew that. But so it was like EA, 99 Red Balloons, Cthulhu.
Yeah, I assume that.
The other, I still have a little bit of a cough. And I'm like wheezing today with my post-cough stuff. So I'm also like, I don't know. It's real annoying today. But I also fucked up. So two other. So the ways I'm unprepared. One, we distinctly last week's episode said we're gonna read Call of Cthulhu. I did not.
No.
I thought about it several times, but I didn't read it.
So we'll shelf that discussion.
Next week it will definitely be read. And then so I've confirmed that we have in fact one confirmed listener outside our immediate family, and she suggested a topic, and I was like, that sounds like a good topic. And I didn't look it up. I don't even know if it was a good topic or not, but I was just excited that like someone suggested a topic for the first time ever.
Yeah, would you listen?
Yeah, and I just totally didn't even look it up. I'm sure she'll be over it and stop listening by the time this comes out. But but if you're still listening, I apologize.
She'll quit her job and just change her whole life.
Just to follow Holy Costa out.
Yeah. No, just to avoid you.
Yeah, likely.
Yeah, I think we
So,
went in two separate directions
yeah.
for that.
But yeah, so I apologize for like 4 weeks from now when this episode's released and potentially hear this.
Yeah.
So topics. So
99 red balloons.
oh yeah, so I was listening out on the way here, and I don't know.
The
That's
original or I guess Goldfinger or whatever.
yeah, they're not like the one that's like mostly in English.
Okay.
Not the one that's all in German.
Right.
The one that's like a little bit in German.
Because the girl I'm seeing loves the song. That's why I was like, oh, okay.
So, I don't know. The song like a few years ago, like made me really sad listening to it because it's such a, like the story, like the journey through the song is like I think really kind of like I think it's like a lot of us through life, because it starts out and it's like the kids playing with these balloons, and then it just becomes this super deep thing where they essentially start a nuclear war. But I feel like that's like so many people's lives where like for me I feel like in my 20s I was definitely like a kid, and like really not an adult in any way, and I feel like a lot of the stuff I was doing I thought it was like pretty innocent, and then it just like took a hard turn at some point where like shit got real, and I had to be an adult, and now I'm like hardcore adult mode, and like I'm not fun, and like work all the time, and like I don't know, that's like basically this song, like, and then but then like sometimes you can like look back and be like oh that's no, yeah, I used to be like not so serious. Basically the difference between like book Rob Stark and like show Rob Stark. That's like the transition I think all of us go through.
Explain.
Yeah, well, like in the book, Rob Stark's like a kid when he starts off, and then like he like becomes more serious as he
Oh,
goes.
yeah, he's like 17.
But no, in the book he's like a little kid, but in the show he's like a fucking like brooding adult. Like as soon as the show starts.
No, I'm pretty sure in the book he starts 17.
But I think he like
Jon Snow's 14.
Yeah, but no, are they that old? But even if he's that old, I don't think he's like very mature yet. I think he's still like a kid. Like when they find the dire wolves in the beginning, he's like pretty excited to find like dire wolves. Versus like in the show, he's like real brooding about it already. Like the mom's dead of the dire wolves. Like that's more his reaction. JD's looking it up right now. It really distracts me when we do other things.
Oh, yeah. It says here the book begins 14 years after the Stark children are visibly older. Rob and Jon Snow are 17 instead of 14, turning 15. Bran is 10 instead of 7, and Rickon is increased from 3 to 6.
This is the show.
Yeah, so
it's like 40, he's 14 in the book.
So yeah, Rob and Jon are 14 in the book.
Yeah.
So it's 14 years after the rebellion.
Yeah. So yeah. So that's
even though Rob Stark looks like he's like 38 in the show.
Well, that's what I mean. In the show, he's like an old man already. So that's 99 red balloons. But
I'm a pretty smart guy, and your correlation makes no sense.
So that was my first random topic. I don't know. There's one other time I wrote topics down, and I felt like the show didn't flow as well because then I was thinking about like topic to topic. I mean, I've already covered my whole first little paragraph: 90 red balloons, Cthulhu, which I spelled wrong at a red light, and listener topic. So already done.
Yeah.
Then I informed JD where I was location wise, and then yeah. So the other thing.
We're talking about video games.
Yeah.
How I'm real mad about video games right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a huge video game player at all.
Yeah.
But when I do, I don't like people depending on me.
Mm-hmm.
And when you play online, it's a competition, and I feel like life's a competition enough. So my video game playing is an escape from life. Like I can spend a couple hours play video games, and I don't have to deal with the outside world. Playing online, I have to deal with the outside world. I have to be part of a team, and I have to do something, and people depend on me. I like playing single-player games because only I depend on me. Nobody else depends on me, and I can do whatever I want. And then I read something about Grand Theft Auto 6 when it's going to be released. There's a rumor that it's only going to be online only.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's a disturbing trend for a lot of reasons. Because one, and I mean, this is becoming less and less prevalent, but there's still people, even in America, much less in other countries, that don't have stable internet access, which means they just can't play these games.
Right.
Versus if there's some sort of offline mode, then you can play them. I feel like most like Steam games and stuff have an offline mode, but not all of them do. I don't know. There's it can just go really wrong. Like I think so. The last SimCity iteration was an example of that. So I love SimCity, and SimCity is very much a single player game. I mean, SimCity is just what you just build a city and like you play by yourself, and it's like escapism, and it's just like just a city building. It's like the city building sim. And for some reason, and they implemented two SimCities ago, unless there's been a new one since this, but I don't think there's been. But two SimCities ago, they implemented where you could like play with friends, or you could.
Hey,
or you
could you
play
not?
online.
Could you not suck the snot up through your nose on mic?
I'm sorry, I'm real
Yeah.
stiffly, but I'm glad you told me rather than have me do it the whole show.
Yeah.
I just turned away to do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, I put my beard on. But yeah, so two SimCities ago, they implemented where you could play with like other people, you could play with friends or whatever, and it was like kind of cool, and like even if you didn't play really with other people, there was like sort of like the computer AI. So, and the only thing it really affected was you could link your city to neighboring cities, like for both, like you could link highways so you get more traffic in. If the neighboring cities were bigger, you could link like your like water supply and electric supply. You could like sell it to neighboring cities or buy it from them if you didn't have the resources. And it was cool. And then in the last SimCity, they made it that you had to play online. There was no single player mode anymore.
See, that's terrible.
So now this game that a lot of people probably want to play just to play by themselves, now you have to play with other people. Like you have to be part of a larger map. Not only that, but they fucked up this. They didn't have enough servers. So there's big demand, and the first like 48 to 72 hours, of exactly how long, the servers didn't work right. So now you go out, you buy this full price AAA game, and you can't fucking play it for the first few days you own it because the servers weren't good enough. So it was just a disaster. Like I'm pretty sure the game sold poorly after that because it was such a even once they fixed the problems, it was such a fiasco at first that like people were just like, nah, I'm done with SimCity.
Well, it's just like Minecraft. When Minecraft first came out, then they introduced online, and I was okay with it because you could play, you could still play single player if you'd like, but the online is fun because you get invited with your friends to a server. It's not very competitive. You just build stuff all the time, and then but other people can get in that server and like light your whole little town on fire, and it's like that's not fun. It's like people being a dick is not fun. Like you're trying to relax and build something, do something with your friends, and people are like, "I'm just going to destroy it because I'm a dickhead."
Yeah, I played Minecraft in the early days. I remember I played on a couple servers like with my sister and my brother-in-law and like a couple of their friends, and like it was pretty fun because like we all like doing different things. Like my brother-in-law liked doing the building, like I like doing the mining. He liked doing the crafting. I like doing the mining. So I would like spend a couple hours just dig the biggest hole I could find and like dig crazy tunnels and stuff and bring back all these resources and be like, here, just build something.
Yeah, make it look like an African diamond mine.
Yeah, exactly. And it was really fun because there were so many different things to do that you could, and even such a simple game like you could play with other people and like have your own roles. He also liked to organize, so then like you come back with a whole pile of stuff, you'd have like a specific box set out for everything. So
Right.
So it was fun to do that, but I don't even understand Minecraft now. I know there's been so many story updates, and it's like a real game now, not just like a big sandbox.
Did you play Evil Dead 4?
No.
Do you have an attaché case where you have like your grenades and your ammo and your guns and your rocket and everything?
Yeah.
And like throughout the middle of the game, you get like a rocket launcher,
Hmm.
but your original attaché case won't fit it.
Yeah.
So you have to like upgrade your attaché case. And I think most of us spent like half the game just like organizing the attaché case.
Oh yeah. Well, that's like, I mean, I played 400 hours of Skyrim. I believe I said before on this podcast. And I mean, probably 100 hours of that was inventory management.
Yeah.
Because you get full up. It's like, oh, I got to sell this stuff. And it's like, well, do I want to sell this? Maybe I'll need it somewhere. And then you're like, oh, I have this chest at home. I guess I'll put some stuff in the chest.
Yeah, then you want to craft, but you're at the wrong crafting table, so you have to like fast travel back to your chest and then come back.
Yeah, that's pretty much Skyrim. It's like a real neurotic game. But yeah, so we think about video games. I brought up EA. So microtransactions I feel like are like a pretty good thing in general when they're done well. There's a lot of free to play games that I think Hearthstone is an example. It's like Hearthstone I think I said recently about like the crazy amount of time or money you have to put into it to be competitive. But I played Hearthstone for a couple of years before I felt compelled to buy any cards. And I actually just recently made my biggest Hearthstone purchase. The new expansion, like Kobolds and something, is coming out. And this is the first time I bought the pre-sale. Like whenever a new expansion comes out, they have a pre-sale where it's like for $50 you get 50 packs of cards. They're usually like $2 a pack, essentially 50% off. So I never bought it before, but I'm buying it for the next expansion. But I went like 2 years without really feeling compelled to like pay for it because I just had fun doing the other stuff, and they gave you enough free cards like just through play that it was like still interesting, even if you couldn't be like super competitive on like the ladder and stuff. So I think there's examples like that, like free to play done well, or like League of Legends. So I didn't get really into that game because I felt like it was mostly like whiny 12-year-olds that played it. Yeah. But I thought the free to play was awesome in that game because the way it worked there was you would have you'd have 3 or 4 characters that were free to play every week, and then but they would change. So then if you played for a little while and played around with some of the characters, and then you basically got a preview of the characters. Then if you found a character you really liked, you could buy that character to play with it all the time. You didn't have to. You could just play the free to play characters, but it gave you the option. And you can buy upgrades for your characters too. But the upgrades were like so minute that like I'm sure at like the highest level of play they made a difference. But it was stuff like, get this medal to increase your character's health by 0.001%. Really minute upgrades. So like, if you wanted to spend the money and you were really serious, like you could spend the money and do it, but you really didn't have to do it just to play casually. So again, free to play done well. And then you have EA. So EA for a while, the article I read today says that they're the Comcast of the video game world. And that's pretty much a good analogy. Like, they're big, they do a lot of impressive stuff, but they're just assholes. The whole Mass Effect 3 debacle. Bless you. BioWare made Mass Effect 1 and 2, and then EA bought them. And the thing that pissed me off was then, I play everything on Steam because it's the downloadable game service that 99% of people use. I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Yeah, okay. And then EA bought it and not only like changed the game around a little bit, but made you download their shitty ass EA client Origins in order to play it. So I pretty much downloaded Origins. I think my name's like Steam is better or something, and my password's like fuck you EA or something.
Super spiteful.
Yeah.
The only way anyone ever knows Kevin.
Yeah. My player icon on Origins is the Steam logo. But I'm pretty sure other people were as pissed off as I was. So downloaded shitty Origins, played Mass Effect 3, immediately deleted Origins and Mass Effect 3 on my computer as soon as I was done. So I bought none of the DLC because I'm not re-downloading Origins at any point. But the big debate with the Mass Effect 3 was that they had, not only did they have day one DLC, but it was on the disc. So they built it, it was ready to launch, and they put it on the disc. And after you paid like $50 for the game, for this AAA game, you then had to pay an additional $10 to get the extra content.
That was already on the disc?
It was already on the fucking disc that you bought. And by extra content, they meant, so without, for the one person, I'm pretty sure the one person listening to our podcast has not played Mass Effect. So spoilers don't matter.
Yeah, so just skip like the first 10 minutes. But
what I was going to say is, but for the synopsis, the point of it is basically humanity is going to be destroyed. They're going down this path, and humanity and all the other advanced civilizations are going to be destroyed. Just like these precursor civilizations that were destroyed in the same way. And you're trying to learn from the precursor civilizations how not to be destroyed. And the extra quote unquote extra content was a being that was revived from that precursor civilization, who essentially was the main fucking storyline of Mass Effect 3. And they called him extra content so that you had to pay to download him. But he was basically the main storyline. You had to pay to download the main storyline after you paid full AAA price for the game.
Let's switch gears real quick.
Yeah.
Because it's the longest conversation of video games I ever
I wasn't complaining about EA. I didn't even get to the recent thing. This is all background story.
Oh.
So the recent thing was with the free-to-play stuff with EA was they're releasing a new Star Wars game, which I haven't played like any really Star Wars games ever, even though I do like Star Wars. But apparently, on there's I guess it's been confirmed now. There's a rumor that in this again full price AAA game, there will be the free to play stuff that you can buy, which is completely wrong. The idea of, or I'm sorry, not like microtransactions, which is completely wrong. Like microtransactions are supposed to be in a free to play game, so like you don't hit anything for the game, but then you pay the developer incrementally for stuff you want to use. But they're charging you full price for a game, and then also making you buy other stuff in the game, which is insane. So, but the thing that came out was that in order to play the best characters, in order to unlock Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker, you had to play about 40 hours worth of game time to get enough stuff to unlock them, or just buy them. You know, essentially you can unlock all the characters if you want to buy the game a second time, essentially from EA. But then the interesting part of the story is people were talking about this on Reddit, and an EA spokesperson came on Reddit and left a big comment about how they wanted to make these like iconic characters hard to get, so people felt really accomplished for getting them. You know, and apparently it's the most downvoted comment on Reddit ever by 10 times. Apparently some other guy at some point had a joke thread where he asked people to downvote him to see how far he could get downvoted. That he got about 3,000 downvotes. This EA marketing person got about 30,000 downvotes. So essentially EA, some of the stuff they do is such a joke. It is literally by a power of 10, like more than this other joke.
An actual joke.
An actual joke, yeah.
So I want to ask you a question. For that, I heard like you heard about the Louis C.K. stuff, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
I don't know the details. I just know that he was like, yeah, I did that shit.
So essentially, 5 women complained that he masturbated in front of them. So there's 4 times because 2 of the women were together.
Yeah.
One was in his trailer, and then I forget where one was, but a couple of them were in his hotel room.
Yeah.
So, and like, yeah, all the sexual assault that's been coming out, you know, for Bill Cosby, like you could say like a lot of things about it. Like it's wrong. It should never happen. It's been a part of entertainment forever.
I don't know where this butt's going. This makes me real nervous.
It's not a bad butt.
Yeah.
I'm just you know, it's just points. It's terrible, but more people are shocked, like they're shocked that it's happening. So like that, I'm like shocked that people are shocked. Like you didn't think, like the people that it's coming out about. Yeah. That's kind of shocking, but the fact that people are like, sexual misconduct happens in Hollywood, like, you shouldn't be that shocked. I mean, it's happened forever. But I heard 2 different sides of the story. Mm-hmm. One was that like, it should never happen. Guys are pigs, because it's mostly guys being accused, which is true. Guys are pretty much pigs.
Yeah.
And then another side of it is like, if you're a man and you invite a woman up to your hotel room or in your trailer, like it's probably for sexual favors.
Yeah, I can see both sides. It's so hard when this shit happens because you don't know what really happened.
Right.
I mean, I agree. I'm gonna agree with the camp that like, I don't know, that essentially like, as a guy, you should never put yourself in this situation, right. And like, you should, I don't know, and I mean, as a guy, you're just responsible to control yourself. So,
like Mike Pence, he
yes, that's like the best story.
Yes or no, whether you like him or not, he pretty much said he's never in a room alone with a woman unless it's his wife.
Yes,
and I'm like, at this point. That's all you could hope for. Like at this point, I'm like, unless it's my wife, I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be alone in a room with a woman because I don't know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, no, it's smart. Yeah, I don't know, and I mean, and it can be, I don't know, it could be anybody. Like before this podcast, we were talking about somebody that like one of us knew that like I would be real vague about it. That like like every once in a while something happens where we just have to walk away and just be like, nah, this feels inappropriate. I'm just gonna walk away.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, I can definitely see both. It's really hard because I feel like, I don't know. I mean, there's definitely got to be women that come out just for publicity,
Right.
and then there's definitely got to be women that don't come out because they're afraid of the bad publicity. Like, it's just so hard to know with this stuff, and like there's so much gray area, and like I don't know, guys should just control themselves. Like, I mean, there's really no excuse to ever like sexually harass a woman.
Right.
But I don't know, like we were talking about before, like I mean, how do you even know? Like, I mean, I think you should know. I don't know. I don't even know what to say. I feel like you should know. I feel like you have a little voice in the back of your head, like to say like this is inappropriate.
Right.
And I feel like it's really easy to say like, oh, just joking around or whatever, and like and pretend like it wasn't a big deal. But sometimes it's a bigger deal than you lead on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Think about this from both sides, man and woman. Right? You're a man, single. You meet just single, not married or anything, not cheating.
Yeah.
You meet a woman at a bar. You invite her up to your room, your hotel room. Does she think you're up there to show her pictures of your children? Or, did you invite her up there and then she came up. Do you think, well, now I can make my move?
Yeah, you really wonder, like with the Louis C.K. thing, like you wonder. So, was there a difference in tenor in the encounters between like the people that run like his work trailer, who presumably were probably there for semi-related to work reasons,
right,
versus people that went up to a hotel room with him?
Right.
I don't know, but I mean, like whatever. I think he did the right thing in that. Just to be like, yeah, I did it because honestly, next week no one's gonna remember.
Right.
But if you like fight it and drag it out and do all this other stuff, like just publicity wise, like I think he was really smart just to be like, yeah, I shouldn't have done that stuff, because one, I mean, in a way, he seems like a stand-up guy, sort of like that he didn't deny it, he admitted he was wrong. Like, I don't know, that's what you're supposed to do as an adult. So even though he did his fucked up stuff, like,
and he's like, I always talked, but now I'm here to listen. He's like, I made a mistake, and like I want to atone for my mistake.
Yeah.
I mean, then again, like it's not it's kind of creepy. What he did was like kind of creepy, but he didn't like touch anyone, so I guess that's good. Like that's the bright side of the story. He didn't molest anyone,
that like Hollywood producer guy recently, that was like what he did too. He like
Weinstein.
He like whipped it out in front of people.
Oh no, he did everything.
Well, he did other things too.
There's stories of everything,
but there was like a couple stories where he just like exposed himself to people. And I mean, I guess everyone's into different sexual stuff, but I feel like I don't know. I don't see like if I were gonna do something sexually inappropriate with someone, that I'd just be like, oh, watch me jerk off. Like, I was like, I want the other person involved.
And yes, it's not consensual, so it's bad, because anything not consensual is bad. Yeah. We can all agree on that. But at least like Louis C.K. wasn't touching children. Weinstein wasn't touching children.
Yeah.
Now we have a guy running for Senate, and Kevin Spacey. They were touching children, and that's
Spacey.
terrible.
He's one of the most famous Kevins.
Yeah,
fucked up. Fucked up
he besmirched all the Kevins.
Yeah, we're all screwed now.
And some of my friends know I've never liked Kevin Spacey. I'm like, nah, I don't want to watch him.
Yeah.
And then he came out, and then I was like, I knew it. I fucking knew it. Like, I didn't know that, but I was like, I knew I didn't like him for a reason.
You knew there was something wrong with Kevin Spacey.
He just, I didn't. It wasn't the pedophilia thing, but I didn't like him. And I'm like, now everybody's on that bandwagon. I'm like, thanks. Now everybody joined my bandwagon.
So Kevin Bacon or Kevin Costner is the most famous Kevin?
Hopefully they don't do anything. Well, Kevin Costner, I think he's good, but I hear Kevin Bacon in person's kind of a dick. So
really,
yeah.
What about the? But he's a part of the Bacon Brothers. He raises money for charity.
Yeah, but I mean, like, to people.
Yeah.
Like, let me get a picture, and he's like, nah.
Oh, it's interesting.
Yeah. He curses people out.
Speaking of people being good or bad people, Doc Holliday died this week, right? He didn't die since.
No, last week.
Did we talk about it on the podcast?
No. No, maybe we talked about the Phillies a lot.
Really?
Last week, yeah.
What did we talk about the Phillies?
World Series.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So did we talk about Roy Halladay?
I don't know, but he did die in a plane crash.
Yeah.
In the Gulf of Mexico. They say he was doing tricks showing off. In his
Really?
plane.
I
Yeah,
didn't hear that.
that's what I heard.
That's a shame.
Yeah, he was showing. He was showing off in his plane, doing tricks, and he crashed into the Gulf of Mexico.
Wow. Yeah. I don't know. I was real sad. The day I heard about it, I basically listened to like the radio that night and like the next morning and like listened to people's stories about him and stuff. My favorite Roy Halladay story.
Dude, first off,
Yeah.
always here. He's a good dude.
What's that?
He's always been a good dude.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, that's the thing. I mean, that's what. So one story I heard on the radio. It was an ESPN, and I really hope we didn't talk about this last week. We're talking about the same thing. I don't think we did. So I mean, the chances of someone listening to both podcasts are pretty low. So I guess it's probably fine.
Back to back.
Yeah, exactly.
What's her name, Joan? Or
Yeah, she's
she'll be like, guys, 2 weeks in a row,
Yeah.
Roy Halladay.
yeah. She'll be the first comment on the YouTube channel. So the story I heard on the radio was this guy was an ESPN sports writer, and he was there the game that he pitched the no hitter in the playoffs, and he like interviewed him right after the game. Then he had to go back to the ESPN truck to like upload all the stuff, and then he was walking back through the complex like an hour after the game, and he's like on the phone with his wife, and he passes by and he was about to pass by Roy Halladay. He was just like in one of the tunnels like walking by himself. And he like put the phone down and and said to Roy Halladay, like, "Oh, thanks for the interview after the game. You're really real nice guy." Roy, he's like, "Oh, no problem." And then he picks the phone back up and his son's on the phone now. And then the sports writer say, "You know what?" And I just at that moment broke all the rules of being like a sports writer. And I just went up to Roy Halladay and just gave him the phone and was like, "Hey, can you talk to my 7-year-old son?" And he said Roy Halladay got on the phone and talked like for a while to this guy's kid. Who he just pitched a perfect game in the playoffs,
Right.
And like has all this other stuff to do, and he talked for a while on the phone to the 7-year-old kid.
I really think the sports writer, like his journalism just went away, and he's like, I'm a father,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
like I have this opportunity.
Yeah, and he said like and he said it was cool because like his kid asked Roy Halladay a couple like legit interview questions, like he asked Roy Halladay like, how does it feel to pitch a perfect game and a no hitter in a playoffs in the same year?
Yeah.
It's like the 7-year-old kid like picked up his dad's stuff and like asked some good interview questions.
Yeah, but from what it sounds like is like, imagine what makes a father a bigger hero. Getting the son's hero on the phone with him, like now you're as big as Roy Halladay.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, and he said when he got back on the phone, like his son was like crying hysterically and stuff. And then the cool part of the story was then one of the parts was then like the kid went to school the next day and was like, I talked to Roy Halladay on the phone,
Right.
and like none of the kids believed him, and they had to like write a letter to the teacher, be like, no, he really talked to Roy Halladay. I know all the kids are giving him shit about it, but like it really happened. But my favorite Roy Halladay story is that I don't know if you know the story. That he one time saved a guy from an anaconda on the Amazon River.
No, I never heard that.
So 100% true story.
That sounds like a Roy Halladay story.
So I think this was after that year where he pitched like the no hitter. He went on a fishing trip on the Amazon River, and this like local guy got attacked by an anaconda, and Roy Halladay saved him and pulled this guy naked out of the water onto his boat. So I remember there's a press conference the next day from the Phillies basically saying like, yeah, Roy Halladay fought an anaconda yesterday, but he won. Like, he's uninjured. Don't worry about it.
I don't think there's any better one-up story than that. Like, no matter what you're at, like the guy who for Red Bull who fell from space. Like, I think that's the only one that tops it.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but he didn't save anybody in the process.
Yeah, like if a guy was like, yeah, I saved the guy. I fought a bear off and I killed him, and now I'm wearing his skin. Yeah, that maybe.
Yeah. So I don't know. He's just like, and I loved all his work ethic stories, like about how he like when he first showed up for the Phillies in spring training, they had to give him a key because like he was there before the security guards, so he'd like open the building, and then he was such a role model for the other pitchers because at that point Kyle Kendrick was like just like a bounce between the minor leagues and the major leagues. And the story was like Roy Halladay started showing up, like 4:30 in the morning, do his workout. There was a quote by Chase Utley said it this week, like he would get there at like 5:45, and Roy Halladay would have been done his workout and be eating breakfast already.
Yeah, and he was like towards the end of his career when he was on the Phillies.
Yeah. And this is from Chase Utley, who's like known as like an ultra hard worker, and he was like, yeah, that guy worked way harder than me. But the story was that then after a little while, Kyle Kendrick would be there when Roy would get there, and he would basically just follow and do all the stuff he did. And then after like a year of that, he was a pretty good pitcher.
Right. And Chase Utley is the most lovable person in baseball.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. Then when he got traded from the Phillies, everyone still loved him.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure everyone's rooted for the Dodgers for years at this point.
Yeah. It's one of the few other jerseys at Citizens Bank Park that you can wear. You can wear a Chase Utley Dodgers jersey.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And no one's mad.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure even if the Dodgers were playing, I think it'd still be fine.
Yeah. Well, did you hear his? Did you see his? Like I think it was last season, not this upcoming or this previous, but the one before that. I'm not exactly sure when it was. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
He got a standing ovation.
I believe it. Yeah, well, I think before one of the podcasts, we watched a video of like some crazy play he made this year. It was like still like a world class play at like what is he 39 years old now or something?
Right. No, not even that. Like he came to Philly in a different uniform and he got a standing ovation. Like they had to ask everyone to sit down.
Yeah.
Because the game had to keep going.
Oh, other Roy Halladay story. There's because he played for Toronto for most of his career. There's a Canadian Christmas song about Roy Halladay. that's how big he is.
Sports related. I got another sports story, and I know you're not into this, but I am. You kind of watch.
It's gonna be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu or something.
Nope. Close. MMA.
Okay.
So have you heard of the GSP fight? George St. Pierre. He came back after like 2 years, and they're like, "Oh, he's washed up," and like he looked better than he ever did, and he beat the brakes off the guy he fought, who I can't think of right now.
Yeah.
So like now he has to fight another guy to unify the middleweight. Anyway, long story. So now this Bellator, who's like second to UFC, they're gonna have a heavyweight Grand Prix because they don't have a heavyweight champion right now, so they're gonna have a heavyweight Grand Prix.
Yeah.
And four guys are legitimate heavyweights, and the other four guys are light heavyweights, but they're all gonna fight for the heavyweight tournament.
Yeah.
Everyone except for one guy's 34. Is either ranges between 39 and 42.
Yeah.
Which is about 5 years past the prime of a fighter.
Well, I guess it's the same as in boxing, right? There's aren't a lot of legitimate good heavyweights. I like the guys are around for a while because there aren't new ones coming up, right? Is that like the same thing?
Yeah, it's the same. It's the same thing. So
I wonder why that happens.
They're like the four guys are like the Roy Nelson's not a top heavyweight, but you know, he's probably at 60-40 right now for wins. So is Frank Mir. And then another is I can't think of it. I can't pronounce his name. Anyway, that's the first fight. And then so some of the top heavyweight right now in UFC is Stipe Miocic. And he's like probably 30, I guess. I'm not exactly sure. And he would beat the brakes off all 8 guys. Like real quick.
I wonder why that happens though. Why do like big guys not go into fighting? Like, are they just like they're big, so they know they don't have to fight, so they never really fight their whole life?
I can actually answer this one.
Yeah.
So if you're a top tier competitor that's 240 pounds, 250 pounds, and you can make $100,000 a fight, or you can make $12 million in the NFL, you just go into the NFL.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. It's the same issue with soccer in this country. Right. You know, I mean, if you're, you know, I always thought it was interesting. I've been to a few like the union exhibition games against European teams. I mean, this is European teams playing not even their best players, and they were like huge. They're like American football players because they're like the biggest guys going to soccer because that's where they make the most money. And here, like guys that can't make it in football go into soccer, like the smaller guys do, you know.
Yeah, and a lot of these bigger guys that would be fighters, like top tier wrestlers in high school or college, they had to do something to keep in shape.
Yeah.
For for wrestling.
They play these
So
other
they
sports.
play football or they play baseball in the spring, and like they become, once you're a top tier athlete, you can pretty much do anything. And if you're that good to get signed, like I'd go play football or baseball or basketball over becoming a fighter any day.
Yeah. Yeah, the lifespan's longer, the pay is better. Have your face punched in, cauliflower ears, all
Yeah,
that shit.
yeah, it's all terrible.
Yeah.
So I just that's cool. Like these are big names that I enjoyed watching 10 years ago, 15 years ago. But I was like, oh, those are the heavyweights. Like uh, someone who's 30, like Stipe Miocic, like if he had to fight any of those guys, he would just win.
Yeah.
It was unanimous.
So back to one of our next topics. So, do you have any comments on our Cthulhu story that I didn't read? Like any preview for me for next week?
Nah, we talked about it last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Talked about your sort of preview for.
Right.
Did you reread it this week?
No.
Yeah.
But I'll reread it this week.
Reread it this week, and I'll read it. That's why I didn't read it, because I knew you didn't reread it.
Yeah, right.
I forgot what my other written down topics were. I'm gonna look.
Yeah. So is your son's third birthday tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow, yeah.
Yeah. So you do know, like, from now on, because Kelly's friend's daughter has a birthday, like, the week before, you're always going to celebrate Sam's birthday on Sunday because she'll always get the Saturday birthday celebration.
Yeah, it's kind of bullshit, but I mean, it's okay how it works out. It's kind of nice to like have everybody over, and then and then like it makes it a little easier when he has to go home and stuff. If we like had a party all day and people are still over and stuff. But that's fine. It was pretty fun. We went to Sky Zone on Saturday, and JD already knows the story, but I'll tell it for the podcast crew. So Sam. Well, I guess it really started Friday night this weekend. He was like bad all weekend. But like I don't know, but like in like funny ways. Like so we went to this Christmas bazaar Friday night. And it's Sam and Allie, and then Allie's friend Hayden, when it came to the bazaar with us last year. It was her birthday on Saturday. And so like they all got the Christmas picture together. So we're like, oh, Hayden has to come again so they can get the same picture. That's like our tradition every year now. And Sam's like super possessive of me. Like if another kid walks too close to me, he'll like say to the kid like, "That's my dad," and the kid's like, "Okay," like okay, that's fine. So that I don't know. It was like right before Hayden was leaving. And like Sam and Hayden or Allie and Hayden were like playing around, and like they fell on me, and Sam like hulked out, and Sam like yelled at Hayden, "Get off my dad!" and like grabbed her. But then it was funny because he was talking shit afterwards. Like after Hayden left, he's like retelling the story, and he's like real dramatic, and he's like pointing, and he's like, "I said, get off my dad, Hayden."
Yeah.
Like it's just funny that he's like telling the stories now.
God, I hope he doesn't grow up to be the kid that's like, well, my dad could beat up your dad, and
I hope not.
Yeah. They're like the dad like shows up and he just beats the shit out of you.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of beat the shit out of you,
Yeah.
so we're getting the back where I work, the back driveway where like the trucks come in and everything, and where everyone parks, it's getting repaved, and so we need the trucks, like the repavers blocked off the thing, so our trucks like couldn't come in to like pick shit up or drop stuff off or whatever.
Yeah.
So my like manager like goes out there. He's like, I'm gonna go tell him that we need these trucks to come through because this is getting ridiculous. And he was like kind of mad about it.
Yeah.
And then he left, and I tell my lead, I said, Bob, how funny would it come back in if he was like stumbling all bloody, like they just beat the shit out of him?
I told him.
Yeah. He's like, I told him, but don't worry about it. Yeah. Because before I was born, my dad told me that his old boss, who was like an old stubborn Italian man, hated this trash truck guy, and he's like, I'm gonna go give that asshole a piece of my mind. And like he came back into the shop like 2 minutes later, and his nose was broken. He was all bloody in the mouth. He's like, what happened? He's like, oh, I gave him a piece of his mind, and he punched me.
Well, the other guy looks worse though. Is the thing about
No, it was not. It was like he said the guy was like 6'8", like 400 pounds.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
no,
and his,
no, that guy can do whatever he
yeah,
wants.
his boss was like 5'5", like 200 pounds.
Yeah, and then so then a Saturday morning we took Sam to get a haircut at like the old Russian lady across right across the street from our house. She's basically been like giving bad haircuts since like before.
Not a great haircut.
Yeah.
The back looks silly.
So she's been giving bad haircuts since like I was a kid. But it's great because you go in and she's like, "You want the haircut?" And you're like, "Yeah." And then you sit down to cut your hair, like however she wants to cut it. But it's only like $5.
Nice.
And it's been that way since the 1980s. And it's great with kids because like the kid goes in there, she yells at them in Russian, like they listen. It's good. So she gave Sam the like little Polish boy around the neighborhood haircut, and it like amplified his badness, I think, because then so we went to Sky Zone for Hayden's birthday, and first got kicked out of the non-toddler area because so it's like all row of trampolines, like trampoline blocks, and like the divider in the middle. And Sam like runs across the blocks, like just runs across the blocks like a crazy person. People are bouncing, like people are falling down. Somebody actually got a video, but it was an Instagram story video, so what it's called now, of like somebody like falling off their trampoline, like almost like hitting them. So then like he looks up and like one of the Sky Zone like employees is there, and like you can see the Sky Zone employee look at Sam, and Sam look at the Sky Zone employee, and then Sam turn around and just run his ass off. And like I have such a clear picture in my head of like Sam zigzagging between trampolines and this like full grown adult chasing him. And he evaded the guy for like a full 2 minutes, and I'm there laughing hysterically, and I'm just like, I don't know whose kid that is. Like somebody should catch that kid.
Not my kid.
Yeah. And then it wasn't until like the guy was really nice. Like he finally caught Sam. He sat him like they like he literally sat down with him in the corner, and like was just like I don't know what he was saying to him, but just like you can't do that. Like he was talking to him, and Sam's like okay, and then as soon as they got up, Sam did the same thing again. So then I like grabbed him this time and like carried him off.
That's my dad.
Yeah. And then the guy was like, "Oh, there's like a toddler area you can go in," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I took Sam to the toddler area, and there's a bunch of like it was like a pit with like a bunch of foamy blocks for them to jump in, and then there were basketballs in it for them to throw around. But some of the kids were taking the foam blocks out of the pit and like building stuff with them. So this one kid's like building a wall with the blocks. So then Sam just walks over with the basketball and starts like one at a time, just like knocking the blocks off back in the pit. So the kid like I don't know if he just like said something to him or like looked at him, and then Sam like just like shrugs and like starts knocking the blocks off again. So then this like other little kid like runs at Sam to try to take his ball away. They like crash into each other. They're wrestling on the ground like fighting. I have to like pull Sam off, and then luckily like the kid's parents thought it was funny, so I have to like pull Sam off, and then I'm like holding him for a minute, and then like the kid goes back to building, and I'm just like, "Are you gonna be good?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I put him down, and he immediately runs over and just kicks the kid's entire wall down back into the pit. And I like grab him and we just run out of the toddler section. So now we're just sitting with like all the moms because it's like, well, we can't go back there. We can't go back over there. I guess we're done for today.
This Sunday, I went to go get coffee with my mom. She was up from Florida, and this guy and his daughter, probably like 3 or 4 years old. The dad is like in line trying to like order them breakfast and coffee or whatever and juice, and then she's like trying to hang her coat up there, and like she's obviously struggling, and then she starts crying and her face got all red, and he's like screaming from like across the thing. He's like I can't help you, I'm in line, just wait a second. And like I see this all going on, and I'm a pretty well-intentioned guy, and I kind of want to go over and help like the little girl, like put her coat up on the thing so she like sit her in her chair or whatever, and then just walk away. But then this day and age, like you can't do it.
Yeah,
It's terrible. Like I'm a well-intentioned guy, and like I really wanted to just help this little girl for like 3 seconds, but like Bill Burr said, pedophiles just ruined it for everyone.
Yeah, basically. I don't know.
So,
I don't know if this turned into a pedophile story.
No, it's a joke, but
it took a real sharp turn.
Yeah, no, it's just like all these little kids, and like you can't help the little kids because
That's true. Yeah, I don't
like
know.
Like Kelly probably could have.
Yeah.
Like a mom, but like a dad can't.
Yeah, even that if it was like I don't know, we were at the mall like a few weeks ago, and this kid got like lost, and like her mom just like I don't know wandered off, and like it was like real, and like we stayed with the kid for like a couple minutes until we found her mom. It was like real uncomfortable because yeah, I mean that's the way you think about.
Right.
I don't
Oh,
know,
they
like,
kidnapping that kid or
yeah,
something
exactly.
or
I don't know. It's fucking piece. It was like Nordstrom though, and this fucking piece of shit bomb who has like more money than sense, I guess, was just like, oh, you wandered away. Like, yeah, you're supposed to fucking watch her. She's like 3 years old.
yeah, you know,
Fucking people, man.
be a mom.
Yeah.
You know, there's like certain times when you can't pay attention, and that's like when the dad has the kid.
Yeah. Oh, the best mom out of all Kelly's friends is the oldest kid. She's 12 years old, and she I gave her so first on Saturday after Sam got kicked out of like everywhere, there was a couple other side areas, and then everyone was like, "Ah, Jayla will take Sam." So like I went with like Sam, like the 12-year-old, and I was and like she like looked at me where to go, and I was like, I don't know, I'm following you, like she was the mom at that point,
Yeah.
and like Sam was good with her around. It was good. And then for Sam's actual birthday, we were singing and and then it was like time to cut the cake, and I have like this giant like 3 foot long bread knife that I pulled out.
We were cutting club rolls, which are like 4 inches long, with a giant bread knife.
Yes. But then yeah, so this like 12-year-old girl again was like standing right next to Sam, and I don't know, and we finished singing. She was like, "I'll cut the cake," and I was like, okay, like she seemed pretty confident about it,
Yeah.
and then everyone was like, "Oh, you gave a kid like a 3 foot long bread knife," and I was like, she seemed really confident.
Yeah.
She seemed like she had it down.
She can't lift it with both hands.
Yeah,
So the best thing I saw all weekend, and if Kevin doesn't agree with me, I'm kicking him out.
yeah,
Best thing I saw is I got voluntold to hold the pinata for the
Yeah.
kids to hold.
that was pretty fun.
So Mila, who's what, 3,
Too.
2,
She's like 6 months younger than
she's
Sam.
swinging it into this other kid.
Yeah.
Who is that? The boy?
Yeah, he's like 5.
Yeah, she swings it, and I lift the pinata and mess with him, but he was way too close,
Yeah.
and she just smashes him in the ribs with a bat.
Yeah. And then he didn't back up.
Yeah,
He didn't learn.
yeah, and then he kept moving closer. They're
Yeah.
like back up, and he's like, okay, so he backs up, and then he like inches forward. And it's like, please learn.
Yeah. I really thought one of the older kids was gonna smash your hand. Though I was really concerned. Like I was tightened up. I was nervous.
Well, I am left-handed, so that's why I held it with my right hand.
Yeah.
So then I'll still get this ability,
Yeah.
which would be awesome.
But you still jerk off.
Yeah, no, no,
Nah.
yeah, and then yeah, bro, I can still write.
Yeah.
The writing's the best part.
That's the important thing.
So
So I think I've drank a third of this beer. I'm
Is
fairly certain.
is it good?
I do like it. It's just I don't know why. I just like it. I guess because it's so sweet. I don't anticipate even finishing half of this.
Yeah, I think I have like a third of this as well.
Maybe the large cans of beer. I guess good and bad idea. We drink less beer. But
Yeah, maybe, but I think we couldn't get any more beer because I knew I was gonna be full from Arby's.
yeah,
So
that's probably it.
yeah, but that's it for this week's whole wheat Costa. If I can get it to stop recording.